Okay, we're recording. So today our post was about blue and orange and all the good yummy yellow containers. But before we kind of get into some of the more container talk, like just in general, how's everybody doing with a plan, a program, containers? How is everybody? How's everybody doing, feeling about everything? Good and bad.
I'm not eating all that often right now, so there isn't really a plan at this point. I'm just trying when I can eat to make more conscious decisions because, yeah, I'm eating maybe twice a day if I'm lucky.
And is that so? For you guys that don't know Amanda, she's very pregnant.
Yeah, very, very pregnant. I pretty much wake up with no appetite. I don't get hungry until about 11 o'clock in the morning. I eat lunch. Lunch causes me to have violent heartburn. I usually get the heartburn kind of under control by about 8 o'clock at night, and I try to eat something else before I go to bed.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's fun.
What are you able to eat? Just whatever?
Right now, I never know. Almond milk is my best friend. Almond milk and coconut water are the only things that don't make me like want to throw up immediately.
Oh, good.
I eat a lot of like watermelon, cucumber, I guess like fruits and vegetables that are watery
Yeah.
seem to be okay. It's been so bad lately. I was all about this, like, the last 6 weeks or so of my pregnancy, I'm gonna buy into this and try and focus on eating healthy. And then baby was like, yeah, how about you just don't eat?
Oh no.
So it's tough, but it at least causes me to think, because this baby's not going to be in here forever.
Yes.
So hopefully I can kind of get my mindset in the right place that by the time baby gets here, I'll be ready to tackle things a little bit better. So that's kind of my goal here. It's not necessarily that I'm solving any of my own problems right now, but more so that I'm trying to get myself in the right mindset for when baby gets here. And I have a lot of work to do. I have 3 babies in 4 years. I've gained almost 100 pounds. So there's that.
Wow. Well, this is a great way to, I think you're doing a great thing. I think you're making the conscious, at least, you're thinking about it. And I know, maybe you have or you haven't with previous pregnancies, but like being part of our group, even though you're not actively doing anything as part of the group right now, just to, be around it and to be like taking in the information, are you watching any of the videos?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Like just to kind of like have it there in the back of your mind so that when you are able to, and you and I can work, like if you end up nursing or not, we can accommodate nursing, nutrition for lactation as well.
Right. So, yeah, I'm kind of I feel like the weirdo creeper in the group that's like just watching everybody else and what they're doing. But it helps. Whether y'all realize it or not, it helps.
Good.
That was me 2 months ago, so don't. It's all good. That was me 2 months ago, so don't feel too bad.
Yeah, it's different to be kind of in the group, but just watching the group. I'm like, wow, you guys are really killing it. Way to go. Eat some ice cream because it makes my heartburn feel better. Like,
Oh,
I'm a
man.
really great cheerleader.
Hi, Veronica. Oh, we can't hear you for some reason. You're not muted. I had to log out and log back in for some reason.
You might have to select internet audio. I have to do that every single time.
It's interesting. Mine made me select device audio.
Hello? Weird. Oh, good. We can hear you now. Perfect. Welcome.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
That's okay.
Took me a minute to get home and then to figure this out. It's been a while since I've used Zoom, actually. So to re-download it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you have to like set up your account and like all those fun things. Well,
Yeah.
Well, so we're just kind of like touching base, like how are things going? How are containers going for you?
Containers, for the usual, well, I think I'm just having a little trouble overusing my yellow containers. It's so easy to go over on those before you even realize it. So I'm trying. But this week, I did go over with those a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to go over, especially like I only get 3, which is very sad.
Yeah, me too. And it doesn't feel like it's enough, but I'm trying to stay within that limit.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's so what we were going to be talking about tonight, in addition to whatever else you guys want to talk about, questions that you have, is the blue, orange, and yellow containers, because I know everybody loves those, and I'm sure we don't have a hard time filling those up. But I wanted to talk about some alternatives for those and share a quick story on the yellows. When I first started the containers, I jumped right in with Time Nutrition when I started 80-Day Obsession, and it was the most consistent that I ever was with nutrition ever in my life. But I had this really interesting thing happen with the yellow containers. I basically wasn't picking from the top third of the yellow container list when I first started. And that, in combination with some other things that I was still figuring out with the nutrition program, I would have like a slice of, bread with peanut butter, and that was like my yellow in my teaspoon. So I did that for like the first 2 or 3 weeks, and I wasn't seeing great results. And I kind of like played around with some other things. And then I decided that maybe I should like not be picking from the bottom of the list and having bread. And so I went straight for the top and I started doing sweet potatoes with my peanut butter. And within a week, I started having better energy. I wasn't like craving the yellows like I totally was before. And I started seeing like really different results with my nutrition and my workout. Like my body started changing. And so yellows, I think, can have one of the biggest impact on our nutrition, because either we choose, the tortillas and the bread and the, English muffins from the bottom, and they don't really stick with us, and maybe they're not as dense in nutrition as some of the other things. And so our body burns through those really quick. Or we can, we can have those. They're still totally fine. But if you really want to look for like more substantial results and feel fuller and feel more satisfied, I would suggest, looking at the top part of the list. Because when I switched over to sweet potatoes, and I basically ate like sweet potatoes for all of 80-Day Obsession because I didn't really experiment. But I had really, really good results. And so now that I've been in it more, I've been like experimenting with different yellows. But that was an interesting story that I just wanted to share with you guys because of how significant the results were just like in a couple of weeks. And yeah, go ahead.
I think one of the things that happens sometimes with those yellows on the bottom part of the list with your bread, your tortilla, your English muffin, whatever, a lot of times those tend to be grains, and those can be things that cause inflammation in people.
That's true.
And so sometimes you're choosing that. And so it's not necessarily sabotaging your results because you're eating something you shouldn't be eating. but it more so sabotages your results because your body's maybe not processing it the way that it could. And so it might be worth kind of playing around with changing up some of those yellows and seeing, like, is it an inflammation issue? Is my body telling me, you know what? I don't really like this food. It tastes delicious, but we don't get along. Like, it's really different for me because I have to be gluten-free. And so I wind up avoiding that part of the list kind of in general. But yeah, it was something that I've kind of played around with, like, okay, well, when I eat this grain, you know, if I use quinoa or I use rice or whatever, what does my body feel like, as opposed to if I choose sweet potatoes or white potatoes or whatever that is.
That's a great point. And I actually have experienced that lately with tomatoes. My body is not a fan of tomatoes, apparently. So I cut out tomatoes, just kind of on a whim, because I've been seeing an acupuncturist for a number of things and looked into some of the nutrition aspect of what goes along with Chinese medicine. And so I decided to cut tomatoes out because that's not a good thing for what my body is having issues with. And I've noticed a huge difference. And it's not because tomatoes are bad for you. Like, tomatoes have huge health benefits, but it's really based on, like, your personal body chemistry. So as you get deeper into the containers and you're doing really well with your nutrition, if you still feel like, there's something going on, try, experimenting with different foods and see, like, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel bad, things like that. So good point, because we are all we're all humans and food is the same, but the way that individually we react can be very different.
Yeah. I've noticed a change in my body when I eat more of, like, the breads and the crackers, because I love that stuff. I love it. If I stay away from it and stick with the other carbs, my body is fine. But yeah, if I tend to eat too much of that bread stuff, my body is not so happy with it. And it's unfortunate because it's my favorite. So it's really hard to completely stop, but I think definitely lessen that intake by a lot. Yeah, and I know this. I don't like it. It's a struggle, but yeah, making that right choice.
Yeah. It is hard. And, and that could be, that ends up being my treat. Like, sometimes my husband makes biscuits on the weekends, and, like, I'll have a biscuit on a Sunday for sure as part of my nutrition plan, but that'll be my yellow. And that's right for me now. And it's like, it's a little bit disappointing that my life has come down to this, but
so my body will be happier for it.
Yeah, and healthier. So much better. Exactly.
Yeah.
What is everybody choosing right now for their yellow containers? What are your go-tos?
Brown rice and quinoa are my favorites.
Those are great.
Yeah.
I do sweet potatoes, and then I won't lie, it's usually like a sprouted grain bread or an English muffin. And
so
I don't really do beans, and I love quinoa, but quinoa does not love me. So, I'm looking at this, like, top third of the yellow containers, and probably peas would be the other thing I do. But yeah, not a great variety on my part.
When I was doing the vegan plan, I started eating a lot of lentils, and I really have fallen in love with lentils, actually. I cook up red lentils, and they're really satisfying. They've got a really mild kind of a nutty flavor, and they're a legume, so they're a little bit higher in protein. But I love those. So I kind of rotate between sweet potatoes and I do both rolled oats and steel cut oats. Actually, at Walmart, I found organic, quick cooking steel cut oats. So those are great because they don't take 1,000 years to cook. And then I do bread too. I usually do avocado toast in the middle of the day, and I'm so loving that right now.
I like doing overnight oats with the steel cut oats. That's pretty good too.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What are some, do you guys have, is there anything from the yellow list that you haven't tried yet that you're looking at trying? I don't have mine up. What is my list?
I don't know. I think there's certain ones that I'm familiar with and that I remember, and those I think are the ones that I tend to stick to. Nothing's really jumping out at me right now.
I know beans are on there.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. I love water chestnuts. Why are they at all my life I thought they were vegetable. That's it.
Can you guys hear the chickens?
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, I'm outside because the kids are inside watching TV and everything. So I came outside. There's a breeze, and we've got chickens in the backyard.
That's awesome. I was like,
they're a little loud. It's breakfast foods, eggs.
oh,
Ladies, I hate to do this. I got to bow out. I got to get into the pharmacy before they close down.
okay. Well, thank you for hopping on. I'm so glad. Thank you for contributing and feel better.
Yes, I am going to hopefully get this heartburn under control.
Sounds great.
But I will talk to y'all soon, okay?
Bye.
Bye.
Parsnips are a really cool one that I've been wanting to try. You can pick them up just like French fries, and they are higher. Well, no, actually, no. I guess they're just right there with potato. But I would like to try that one.
Huh. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try it too.
What else? Yeah, that's one that I want to try. Actually, this is an interesting point. Just to kind of show how skewed Americans are with how many carbs we eat. So I'm also going through this nutrition certification through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And bagels. Do you know how much of one bagel is one carb serving? Do you have any idea?
What do I want to know?
No, you don't want to know.
Oh no.
A quarter of a bagel is one serving of carbs.
Oh my gosh. Is that just like one half? Like 1/4 of one half?
So if you cut it in half and then you have a half of a half.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's like, and think about how many, like, people will have a bagel and, you know, a sugary drink from Starbucks for breakfast. And then they'll have, you know, a bar for a snack at, you know, snack time. And then they'll have a sandwich with 2 slices of bread. And then, you know, maybe they'll have some like chips in the afternoon. And then they'll go home and have, you know, potatoes with dinner. I mean, that's like 8 servings of carbs. Can you even like, and we all like, I'm sure we've all done that and thought it was totally normal.
Yeah.
It's just not, you know, it's not well taught. Like, and yeah, the food pyramid used to be like carbs at the bottom. And so we were all kind of like accustomed to that. But I was floored that that's a serving. 4 servings of carbs are in a bagel, which is so sad.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So just, you know, it's good to know though. It's good to be aware of that. Yeah. So,
yeah.
But,
well, what about like the mini bagels?
on here it says half of a small bagel.
It's like the mini ones.
Yeah. Which is a 3-inch bagel.
Okay.
Which is like your mini bagel.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's very, very dense. Yeah. Bummer on that one. But let's not end on that sad note because we all love carbs so much. Let's talk about the blue containers. Or actually, no, let's talk about orange containers because oranges can be challenging if you're not doing dressings. What have you guys been doing for orange containers?
I like seeds and nuts in my salad because I don't like a whole lot of salad dressing anyway. So for me, that serving for salad dressing is too much. So I tend to fill it more with like the nuts and the seeds to add to my salad.
So do you know, so most nuts are actually a blue container.
First quarter, 17 to nothing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Ray Clark took him down, touchdown. First quarter. They took him out of the game.
Cool. Oh, why?
Well, he's like,
So, Veronica, do you know that most of the nuts are actually in the blue container category?
Jesus. Yeah. I know. This is why I struggle with the blue one too, because I love the avocado and I love the dairy and all that stuff. And that container is so small that it makes it really difficult.
Right. I've been doing pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are usually my orange container. And then tonight I ran out and I actually did shredded coconut in my fruit, which was really good. I had coconut and fruit and that was really tasty. Olives, actually. I always forget about olives because I love olives.
For an orange container, I know. A little loud. It doesn't seem like people fit very many olives in your orange container.
Well, it says 10 medium, and it's one of the ones that it says this food item doesn't fit in the containers. So you just use the indicated amount. Same with a lot of the nuts. So like 12 almonds, 8 cashews, 14 peanuts, 20 pistachios, 10 pecan halves, 8 walnut halves. All of those, like, they don't fit well in the containers. And same with olives, because you're like 4 olives and then you have all the space.
Yes.
So unless you put like olive peppermint or something. Good. Anything else that you guys are, have questions on or struggling with? Is everybody like feeling full? Like when you do the containers properly, do you feel like you're getting enough food? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that carb craving that I've been struggling with lately. It's not all the time either. It just kind of comes and goes.
Yeah. Are you doing, I know for me, I get cravings if I, because I'm always starving all morning long and then like later in the afternoon, I'm not as hungry. Have you ever played with like eating more meals and more containers like around the time of day that you get cravings?
Sometimes with work that's a little difficult because I don't know how many clients I'll be seeing that day or if they show, or sometimes they show up unexpectedly or you're in a phone call. Like today we were in a meeting all morning. There's usually food at the meetings, so I tend to either bring my own or just stick to what I know I can have. So that kind of helps because they just kind of graze during the meeting. But other than that, it's just kind of, that's why time nutrition was difficult for me, because it is every 2 to 3 hours, and at work you just don't know if you're going to be able to do that or not.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes by the time I get home, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starving. It's about this time.
Yeah. So is this when your cravings kicked in then? When you're starving, like all you want is carbs?
Yes. Well, lately. But I'm also factoring in the fact that I'm probably getting ready to start a cycle here pretty soon. And so that probably kind of has to do with it a lot. Yeah. I need all the carbs.
Me too. Yeah. Are you, and I know that, I know you're familiar with the containers, but time nutrition is heavier on like eat every 2 to 3 hours, but in reality, that is kind of how the containers are supposed to be used anyway.
Right.
I'm trying to think, because it really, like to really keep your metabolism up and keep your body burning effectively, when you do go those long time frames in between eating, it does slow down your metabolism. And actually, we had a consultative service from Asha at work today. We invite Asha to come in and like look at our facility. Mm-hmm. So the guy who came in today, like he didn't want to stop for lunch because he's like, well, I'm doing intermittent fasting and I don't eat until 4 p.m. I'm like, well, I do. And like, but that's the thing. Like I was thinking about like how that program works. Like people who do intermittent fasting, like you pick 6 hours out of 24 hours and you eat everything in there. But the rest of the time you're not eating, you're not stoking your fire, you're not, keeping your metabolism going. And so people like, they go all day without eating. And then they eat everything in a 6 hour period. And that's not great for your metabolism. Like it can really mess with your metabolism and slow it down. And when you skip those meals and when you skip even just like putting something in, a container or two together, that's kind of effectively what you're doing is you're just like, you're throwing a wet towel on your metabolism. So I don't know, maybe there are other container combinations that you can put together that you can eat really quick, like in between or at your desk. Is that something maybe you'd be able to do?
I could probably do that. Yeah. So I was thinking about giving it another try and seeing how it goes this coming week, actually.
Yeah. I mean, things like I get like no salt added turkey breast from the deli, and I can make like roll-ups with like some vegetables and like some, a little bit of like balsamic vinegar or mustard, which are like good and creamy, but those are freebies. Just to kind of give it a little bit of extra. And so like some vegetables and some protein, and I just make a bunch of roll-ups. And then I can just like snack on those. And those are really quick finger food. Even like when I'm driving, I can eat those. I'm
going to come up with my food plan tomorrow and then do my shopping and prepping over the weekend.
Great. Yeah, just some quick and easy things. But like I love deli meats, not like the heavily salted ones, but if you can find one, there's one out here in the Southeast. It's called Boar's Head, which is really, really high quality, but they do like a no salt added. And so it's like it's totally plain. It's basically just like plain turkey sliced. They don't like season it and they don't brine it either.
I think there's like something similar to that that I could find at Costco, and it's also like GMO free and all that stuff. I found it there before, so shopping trip.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, just something like that you can eat in between. I'm trying to think what other people do that I've heard. You can do like lettuce wraps with taco meat or something.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, just something just wrapped up things.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start going through the Fixate cookbooks and recipes and that kind of stuff and see what pops out that I could probably get away with at work.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to try.
Yeah. Because I mean, you want to get the most out of this program and the most out of your nutrition and make it work for you as much as possible. And I mean, it ends up like kind of, you end up shooting yourself in the foot if you go long periods of time without eating because you're slowing down your metabolism. And then you have all these containers left over and your body can only utilize so much of that nutrition at once. So even if you eat all the containers in the day, if you eat them all like in 2 meals, your body won't effectively utilize them. And so it's almost like either you're just, your body stores them for later in the form of fat, or it just kind of like sends everything through and you don't utilize everything. So it is best, and you do get the most out of it if you can spread it out as much as possible and eat every couple of hours.
Okay. It's gonna be my new goal for now.
Good. Yeah. And if you have, if you have questions or if you're struggling, message me or comment in the group, make a post in the group. And we'll do our best to help. Because there are a couple, like I'm certified as a master coach for the Ultimate Portion Fix, and there are 2 other coaches in the group. Carrie is one of them, who's right. You're a master coach, Carrie. Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry, almost done.
Almost done.
Not
So
quite done.
yeah, so Carrie's going through it, and Amber is as well. Oh, and I think Kelly is too. Like there's a bunch of us. So if you have questions, there's a lot of people who have a lot of suggestions.
Yay.
Yay.
Awesome.
And you can ask in the Summer Slim Dawn group too. There are a lot of people who've got a ton of, and like Tony is like,
Yeah, they offer up a lot of advice. It's really great.
Yeah, that's a
Everyone's
phenomenal group too. So,
yeah.
Carrie, did you have a question? Nope, Carrie's gone. Man, I should have taken my picture when everybody was on. Now it's gonna be like 2 people. Maybe she'll get back on and we can take a picture. Overall, how like since we're here, how are things at work? Did you make a decision?
I did. I actually, so I passed on it. I did. So so I had my second interview for the second job yesterday. And it, not much of a promotion, but career advancement happening there. The pay would go up a little bit, but ultimately start thinking about where I want to be and where I'd feel happiest. And I didn't want to go back into that program. And the thought of seeing that promotion change was breaking my heart. It didn't feel like a promotion, and I didn't even want to celebrate it.
Yeah.
You know, and that right there told me that it's not the right fit and time for me.
Good. I'm glad you made that decision then.
Yeah.
Sounds like
yeah. Once I did, it was just like I can breathe and yeah. So it was good, and I feel good about the decision.
Good.
Yeah. 24-0.
Yep.
Who are they playing?
Cardinals.
Oh, cool.
All right. Well, let me take a picture of us. Oh, I guess we're still recording. That's okay. Well, okay. So any other like nutrition related questions? Whoever's like watching this can like hear about your your job.
I didn't dig it.
All right. Any other nutrition related anything?
No, I think that's it. I think I'm going to try and stick to the top list of that carb container and try the Time Nutrition.
Great. Good. I'm excited. I love it. And like, I live by it. It was hard today. It's probably the same thing as what happens to you is like my schedule was not my own today. And so I didn't eat anything from 7:30 a.m. until 1 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
It was
too long.
It was so, I could barely even like stop for a drink of water. I was like dehydrated and grumpy and starving and like my brain shut down. And this guy's like, let's keep going. And I'm like, dude.
And I'm like, I'm already thinking about lunch at like 10 a.m. Like,
yeah. And I eat all my meals, like most of my meals before noon. So like, it's terrible. Like I eat at 5 and then I eat it and then I have my recover after I work out, and then I eat at 8:30 and then I eat at 11. And those are all my big meals. And then I have like a couple small meals like at like 2-ish and then like at 5. And then I'm done.
oh my gosh.
That was hard. So I had to eat like most of my containers after lunch, but I lived. All right, well, let me take a picture. Since we're here, okay. Do that. Okay, ready? I'm gonna do a boomerang, so wave. Okay. Yay. Wish my phone wouldn't. I think my child like comes and sticks his fingers over my cameras.
Everything.
I know, everything is gross and sticky. That's okay. That's what happens to kids. All right. Well, this will be posted if you want to go back and look over anything. And I'm so glad that you were able to get on.
Yeah.
And
me too.
Yeah, and we'll do this again. This, happens every week. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.